Michigan. Oh my goodness, I'm really stinking with the stats today. Iowa XX should be 80. Um, Michigan beats Iowa 90-80 in this one.
It should say TT for Iowa, right?
Oh yeah, it should say
Yeah.
TT for Iowa.
Michigan
Um,
90, Iowa doesn't matter.
right.
That's what that means ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah. Fran leaves the game early, really got upset in this one, was upset with a number of things that were going on. But I mean, Fran's gonna do as Fran does. I think, if somebody walked and stepped on his toe, he would get a technical foul, for getting upset about that. But just one of those games. I think Michigan really needed this one. For Iowa just wasn't catching what they needed, I guess you could say. But Frank, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about some other games kind of being a must win for both teams, and I feel like this one was that case, but to the greatest degree of all these games we've talked about. Iowa coming off of two pretty bad losses, just with respect to score. Michigan being 4-5 and coming off of three straight losses. It was a really ugly start to the game. Neither team really was finding any scoring rhythm early on. Iowa started opening some things with their empty side pick and rolls. And, as I said last time I was on here, I really feel like one of the big keys for Michigan was going to be Tarris Reed. And I think he had a career high in points tonight. He had 19 points, 7 for 10 from the floor, 5 for 7 at the line. And really, he was able to do that at a night when Doug McDaniel was kind of not playing his best basketball. We'll say he's been kind of in a little bit of a slump lately. But really just, Iowa couldn't find a ton going offensively. I mean, Krikke did, what he does, but it felt like nothing came easy for him. He was making a lot of really tough shots. So kudos to him for playing a really good game. But, Tony Perkins had 19, which was really nice to see as well. But, Sandfort 10 and then McCaffery with 10. And there was a huge drop off after that. No one else in double digits. Seeing the McCaffery ejection is always fun. I don't know why I get entertainment out of that, but I felt he was justified in being angry. Those are back-to-back offensive fouls that they got called against Iowa, and I feel like his leash is much shorter than a lot of referees because he has that history. But ultimately now, I mean, Iowa sits at 5-5, and what does the future look like for them? They've dropped almost 25 ranking spots in KenPom in the month of December. There's a whole lot, and they do have a couple easy games coming up, Florida A&M and UMBC, but then it's right back into conference play for them. They were a top 10 offense, and now they're ranked 20th in KenPom. They really need to figure out things on the defensive end, in my opinion, though. But really big win for Michigan, a team that's struggled with Juwan Howard sort of being the coach and sort of not being the coach. I'm still not sure how all that's working. But there was a lot of confusion on the sideline. There was some stuff going around on Twitter about some coaches not really sure who's making calls and whatnot. But big win for Michigan. But I'm slightly concerned for Iowa right now, and I'm curious to see what they'll try to do to turn things around going forward.
Yeah, I think for Michigan, if you win a game where Doug McDaniel scores the least amount of points in your starting lineup, that's a good win for you because he has been so relied upon as the offensive, number one on this team that if you could win this game without making that happen, that's really good. And having 7 assists tonight, I mean, credit to McDaniel. He was able to pivot and say, hey, I'm not hitting a lot of shots this game. I'm 4 for 12. I'm going to go out there. I'm going to make my teammates better, get them what they need. So a lot of credit to them. I think you saw what you wanted to see out of this Michigan team after some stinker games lately that Michigan fans I know weren't too happy to see. Shafts, what were some of your thoughts on this game?
It was interesting because, coming into the game, these are two eerily similar teams, especially when you look at KenPom, top 25 offense and just abysmal defense. So I was expecting a high score game, and that's exactly what we got. Michigan just couldn't miss a shot, basically, in the second half, and Iowa, per usual, they couldn't get a stop. They're not going to figure it out on the defensive end, Frank, because they never figure it out on the defensive end under Fran. But Fran is so entertaining. I love him so much. I love watching him. It's just hysterical. He's never going to change. He knows he's going to get teed up every single time, but he still just goes nuts. His assistant coach is holding him back, and it just doesn't matter. You're never going to get calls like... Big Ten refs are horrible. But the fact that he's been doing this for so long and he still can't control himself is just so funny to me. Yeah, I hope he never changes this, but it was an entertaining game for sure because of the high scoring affair and two good offenses. Exactly what we expected out of them. Yeah, I still haven't figured out these teams at all, like Michigan and Iowa. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do when it comes to, January, February. It's going to be kind of interesting to see. But right now they look like two very similar teams that are still kind of trying to figure out the roles. We know they can score a lot of points and they're going to get up and down the floor. They're going to hit shots, but are they going to be able to get enough stops to move into the upper half of the Big Ten? That's what'll be interesting to see. My last note is that I think we should outlaw college basketball games on NFL Sundays. Just like I want to be focused on the red zone. The Bears even got a win today, which I didn't really want them to get a win today, but I'll take it against Detroit. But yeah, having to watch college basketball on NFL Sundays is not really my favorite.
Well, I saw C.J. Stroud get hurt in his game, so I knew it was going to be a bad NFL
game
for Ohio State fans.
Didn't expect
sad.
that game. Yeah,
sad for him. But we'll stay on basketball here. I agree.
Justin Fields looked good though.
Yeah, which I know you're happy about. No, I agree with everything you said there, Shaps. It was just a high scoring offensive affair. Both of these teams need to figure out defense. Looks like Michigan was able to figure it out more in this game. But I question if Fran just has no desire for defense, if he just doesn't have any coach that can coach it. I mean, we brought it up on the last podcast. Like, there's just no polar opposite basketball and football team more than Iowa right now. And you can say the same thing about both coaches. Like, is it just inept coaching on offense for Iowa's football team? Is it inept coaching on defense for Iowa's basketball team? I don't know what it is. At a certain point, like, I can get the defensive, like, style of play, that's who we are type of thing. I can get that in football. I can't get it in basketball. There is so much that comes from good defense in basketball. I just think you can't ignore it like that. And I'm wondering, is Fran just ignoring it at this point? Which is really, really sad. But, this was a lot of our concerns with Iowa going into the season. Do they have a number one scorer? Do they have that NBA guy who can come in and score at will and make the offense just hum at this amazing pace? And unfortunately, I don't think they do. So I'm really feeling bad about this Iowa team going into the rest of the season. If they have zero defense to lean on and they're still trying to figure out who that scorer is game in and game out that can put things together for them. Because Payton Sandfort, I don't think he is who they kind of hoped him to be. So.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be kind of like the next in line for those, great Iowa players that we've seen recently. And Fran, to his credit, has always had one dominant player, from Garza to the Murray brothers. And just, yeah, like you said, it doesn't seem like he has that necessarily this year. So they're probably going to really struggle because of that.
I mean, I could see him being like a Jordan Bohannon at some point. Is Bohannon? I forget how to say his name. I disliked watching him so much. But he was kind of like, I feel like he could kind of be like what he was, but he doesn't have that download threat like a Garza or somebody to really make it open for him and really show that offense the way it needs to be there. So listen to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.